Alright, so here we are for our Abbey and Mine's final rating of the Lorado Wild West Magic set. This was a ton of fun to play.
Yeah, I agree.
The set is so well made, and just again, we're going to scroll through the pictures as we do our review here, and as you can see, it looks beautiful, great flavor. If you like Wild West, you play this right now. Even if you don't like Wild West stuff, it's just a really great fun set.
Yeah, it really is.
So now, Abby and I, what we want to do is we will rate it using our CATS rating method,
yes,
C-A-T-S.
Our patented CATS rating system.
So C stands for complexity, A stands for awesomeness, T stands for translation, like the flavor, how well does it translate what it's trying to do into Magic, and S is satisfaction. So we'll start with C, complexity. And for complexity, I'm going to go ahead and give this set a B. Because a lot of the mechanics in this set, like Renown and Warband and Reflex, are all very simple, easy to understand mechanics. So those are great. The only thing, though, is that like another mechanic in the set, Straight, it's a little complex. And it's a great mechanic, don't get me wrong. I think it's cool, very poker-esque, but it did take Abby, who's a more intermediate player.
Yeah, it did, and the wording's kind of, I don't know, like, it's kind of hard to explain that sort of thing on a card.
I mean, once you get it,
yeah.
But it does take a little while before you get it. The other thing that kind of brings down the complexity rating for me is the ammo mechanic, for lack of a better word, on the equipment. I mean, this is putting charge counters on the artifact, on your equipment, and then only you have to pay mana and remove a charge counter to use them. It's a lot of stuff going on. It kind of feels bad a little bit. It's like, I want to just use my pistol guy right away, and you can't sometimes because you don't have the mana. So it's just a lot of complexity where I didn't really see the payoff for it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it is, like, the counters and the pistol thing, and all the guns and everything, it is a complicated thing, and it did work out for me in the draft, as we saw really well.
Yeah, I think you had the Thunderbolt Revolver to kill the Feather Swine, but I think you would have won that game anyway. I would have rather just have Thunderbolt Revolver just be a normal equipment, and just have it, like, whenever this creature attacks, it deals 1 or 2 damage to a creature with flying or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the whole charge counter thing with, like, you know, like bringing when it comes to the battlefield, it gets 6 charge counters, and I mean, normally with charge cards, like charge counter cards like that, normally you could tap it or tap and pay to reload, for lack of a better word, more charge counters. And in this game, there's not a whole lot of cards that do that.
Yeah, there are some cards here, like Calamity Trinket, where you can put a charge counter on a non-creature artifact, but it costs 3.
Yeah, that's expensive.
I just don't think that mechanic, it's too complex, and it just doesn't pay off. So,
yeah.
And the last thing that kind of brings down the complexity for me was one thing that I love about the set, but it was a little complex, is all the different types of livestock creature types.
I really enjoyed that.
I mean, I enjoyed it too, don't get me wrong, but every time we read off the card, it's like boar, goat, horse, ox, sheep. It's just, there's so many of them.
It's like reading the Zodiac off of a Magic card.
I really wish that there was just maybe 3 at most. I think that would be a lot easier to track. So, I mean, that would require sacrificing a little bit, unfortunately, but I think just there would be much less text on the cards, and it'd be easier to track if something is like, oh, it's a boar, or it's a goat, or whatever. So,
yeah.
A B for complexity for me. Next up on the rating is A for awesomeness, and I'm going to go ahead and give this one a B for awesomeness as well. Because don't get me wrong, this set does a ton of awesome stuff, just like a Feather Swine and Winged Constable.
Yeah, look at that Constable,
and
man.
Chupacabra, and like some of the rares too, like Twisted Outlaw. There's just all these cards are so cool, and they do awesome things. I mean, we love just looking at this and playing with it.
Yeah, just like scrolling through the cards just when we were checking it out, we both were just like, ooh, and
Yep. But the thing for me is it gets an A for awesomeness in presentation and just cool stuff. But where it kind of falls a little short for me is just in innovative, new stuff. Like all the mechanics, Renown is a returning mechanic, Warband is very similar to Soulbond. Reflex, it's just basically turning an instant into a sorcery.
Yeah.
Straight is definitely the most innovative mechanic for sure.
That's pretty unique.
And like you have certain cards like Royal Flush, which is a mythic rare where you can win the game if you have a straight of 5. Which is cool, but it's like most Magic sets have something very new or innovative about them. Like Rise of Eldrazi had level up creatures.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Or like Scars of Mirrodin brought back Infect or something like that.
Yeah.
But this set has some really cool stuff going on, but I'm just missing the new and innovative stuff. So I kind of missed that a little bit. So I'll give it a C for like the innovation. So it rounds out to a B total.
Yeah,
for awesomeness.
I mean, there's a lot of rebranded stuff. It was a fun set for sure, but there's a lot of rebranded old mechanics in it.
However, the next one, T, translation. How well did this translate the Wild West into Magic cards? A. Easy A.
Yeah, easy A.
This is fantastically done. Unbelievable job. This has all the tropes that you want from the Wild West, and but not only that, you also get this distinct feel of Lorado the Plain as well. So it's not just like a generic Wild West thing. You also get this feel of this plane. And it's really hard to put into words, but just playing with the cards and seeing them, you really get a sense of like what the conflict is and who the characters are, and just fantastically done. So like we talked about with the Star Wars set, we gave them an A- because they kind of didn't include the iconic stuff at common, but here the creator, Faraho is a mythic planeswalker in the set who's not going to come up very often, but you see his Faraho's Blessing at uncommon and Faraho's Shield at common.
Exactly.
Which is great for getting those kind of more flavorful and mythic and important things all around the set. So A job. Excellent work.
Exactly. I love that. Like, anytime you can get a piece of the Planeswalker at a common level, that gives the set a lot more flavor.
Exactly. All right, and last up we have S for Satisfaction, and I'm going to say I'll give it a B.
And I have to agree with that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, this set is very fun. If you like Wild West, you should definitely play it. If you like playing aggressive sets, you should also probably check this out, because as we saw in the matches, the more aggressive player was usually had the advantage.
Right, and I guess that would make my rating sort of a B+ then, because I love aggressive anything.
Fair enough.
And I am just, when it comes to playing Magic, I'm red mage all the way, and I'm in love with that
and that's not a
style.
That's not a problem for me. The only thing that gets me a little bit, because again, an A here would be I want to draft it again right away. A B is I want to draft it again sometime, and a C would be sure, I'll draft it in the future. So I would love to draft this again, but I would be much more happy to draft it again if the draft just felt a little bit more balanced. And what I mean by that is, I think that white is a little bit too good at common. So white has, at common, Hogtie, which is basically a pacifism. It has Into the Sunset, which is a more expensive Swords to Plowshares. It has Kill Shot, and it has Smoke the Peace Pipe.
Oh, that was overpowered,
and Smoke the Peace Pipe, we saw how good that was. Yeah. And these are all very good commons, whereas other colors like blue, red, and green, they just don't have those premium commons. So it's a lot. I felt like every time we were drafting, I was either drifting toward white because they just had really good commons, or I had to force myself to stay away from white. Like, the best other green commons is like the Rain Dancer or the Rugged Lumberjack, something like that. And those are fine, but it's like when we were doing Abby's draft of the blue-red, I had to actively tell myself, no, we need to stick to blue-red, don't go into white. So I think maybe distributing white's good commons, at least one of them into other colors would be good. Like maybe Hogtie could go into blue as maybe it taps down the creature and it doesn't untap as long as you control a creature, because something like blue's common removal spell, Gone Fishin', is not very good. 3 mana, and it doesn't tap it when it comes into play. It's just, ugh. So again, I wish the commons were just a bit more balanced between the colors. So yeah, all in all, the changes that I would make to this set is I would, I would get rid of the firearms mechanic. It just didn't seem to be coming through for me.
Yeah.
And I would love to see something more innovative brought to the set. I don't know how possible that is, but even without that, I think there's still some other just little things that could be tweaked, such as just making white less good at common, making some of the other colors a little bit better at common. And last thing, the one thing that I really want in the set that we didn't see, but I kind of expected to be there, is there to be a livestock lord.
Oh, that's true.
Something that just gives all boars, goats, horse, or whatever creature types are left +1/+1. It could be like the livestock whisperer.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it should be something like that.
Or something like that. And it doesn't even have to be very good, but I just want it to be in the set because I think it'd be a fun thing to... I mean, don't get me wrong, Paragon Rancher's fine for like card advantage, but I just want to beef up my livestock and attack with them. So overall, I really like the set. just a few little things brought it down from an A for me, but again, just because a set is not perfect doesn't mean you shouldn't draft it. If you like aggressive sets, I definitely think you should check this out. If you like Wild West, oh my god, check it out right now.
Yeah, download this right now.
And even if you don't like the Wild West, I think you'll still have a lot of fun drafting it.
Yeah.
Cool, so that was Abby and mine's review of this set, Lorado Wild West. If you want it, check out the link in the description. And if you have any other favorite custom sets of your own that you want us to play and rate and review, then let us know in the comments.
Hey.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.